right, we are live. Welcome back, everyone. J-Bone here for Smash This Podcast. Coming at you with something I don't talk about too much on this channel, and I should. But this was a big event, so I did not want to miss this one. We're going to talk about the N.W.A. Tonight, they had their 70th anniversary. We got new champions crowned, some retained, some did not. I gotta say I'm shocked. What happened tonight was very telling. Telling in a way that what's going forward with Cody and his boys, wherever they are headed, I think it's plain to see that the NWA championship would not be following with. Now, that doesn't give anything definite at all. All it says is that very loud and clear. Unfortunately. I still have absolutely no doubt that 2019 is going to be a great year for the NWA. Let's start out with the big announcement. And by all means, folks, as I start this out and we kick this off, and if you folks have any opinions about any part of this, part of the show that we're discussing, or any part of it for that matter, put it in the comments. In the live chat, we'll be keeping an eye on it. Because I'm sure, wow. I'm sure there's going to be some opinions out there about what happened tonight. Let's start out with the big announcement that happened about 3/4 of the way through the show. The Crockett Cup is returning in 2019. That announcement was made by none other than Jim Cornette and Road Warrior Animal. Very big announcement. And I have absolutely no doubt that the NWA Tag Team Championship is going to coincide with that Crockett Cup, because right now I do not think that they have NWA Tag Team Championships. We had several belts on the line, and well, so far, all we've seen over the course of the last year and a half that we've been talking and seeing stuff from the NWA rise up from the ashes, we've seen the 10 pounds of gold. That's it. Everything else around the country, that was tied to the NWA from what we knew had gone by the wayside. We found out shortly before this that the NWA Women's Championship would be on the line and that Jazz held it. Now, that was very revealing. That was a huge statement from Billy Corgan and Dave Lagana. You know, I did not realize that they were going to, have that see the light of day. I don't, I'm sure people down around that area knew it was around. And this is not a knock on Chaz. It's just that, this whole company and everything surrounding it has been slowly rising out of the ashes over the course of the last year and a half. But over the last 766 days, Jazz, former WWF, former ECW, I believe, because some of that goes way back, so it's a little fuzzy. Former WWF Women's Champ Jazz has been NWA Women's Champion. And up until very recently, I did not know there was an NWA Women's Champion present in wrestling. I thought we were sticking with the 10 pounds of gold. That was it. Shocked. Very happy for Jazz, though. Don't get me wrong. Do not get me wrong. To have a woman's champ of her caliber, that kind of athlete representing NWA women's wrestling. Wow. I mean, that's especially for 706. Well, as of a couple hours from now, it'll be 767. That, wow. That says something. And that's, you know, it literally leaves me a little speechless because that's, you don't hear about timelines like that anymore. You just don't. The last one we've heard like that was like the classic WWF women's champions from decades ago. Not Mae Young. I can't think of her name. She held the championship for like 50 years or something. I can't think of her name. I apologize. The one that there was so much controversy surrounding this past WrestleMania season. But anyways, awesome for Jazz. And we got a new champion in a brand new belt debuting tonight for the NWA National Championship. We'll get to that in a bit. So the fact that we're going to have the Crockett Cup returning in 2019, I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that we're going to get brand new NWA tag team champions out of that. And I think tonight was a little telling as far as who's going to be in the forefront of that, being what do they call them? The War Kings, Jax Dane and Crimson. They were in action. Very impressive. Agents in the chat. Fabulous Moolah. Thank you. See, I love my regulars. They help me fill in the blanks for when those 25 years? I thought it was longer than that. But you're probably right. But yes, thank you. Fabulous Moolah. And no, I don't buy all that controversial BS that happened back then. Not buying it. I'm sure there's been some shady stuff that's happened over the years, but I mean, come on. For crying out loud. What else are we going to turn into snowflakes about this year, for crying out loud? I'm going to make up some stuff from 100 years ago. Let's get real here. Held on so long, had her face on it, right? Hey, why not? Why not? It's like putting the president's face on the money. Why not, right? So, really looking forward to seeing what the NWA does with the tag team championships in 2019. I certainly don't think Josephus's women are going to be any part of that. Although I will give props to Shannon Moore and Crazy Steve. That was a surprise, and that was they put on a good match tonight with the War Kings. I keep wanting to say Ring Warriors. It's because you mix that up with the War Kings and the Road Warriors and the oops. My goodness. Anyways, let's start talking about this show. Certainly some positives, certainly some negatives, depending on who you're rooting for. But looks like we're getting some viewers in now. So let me know what you thought about it as we go over some of this stuff. Let me know who you were rooting for, and if you're happy about who won, let me know in the chat. Let's start out now. I missed a couple parts of this show, and I apologize because I was actually just getting dinner on as this show started. It was 6:00 here. So I missed a couple things. I was trying to see the really important stuff that I was vested in. So I'm apologizing ahead of time here. First, we had the one of two 4-way elimination matches for finding out who was going to be the NWA national champion later in the evening. Demon Rocks is in the chat. What's up? Two best NWA women's champions were Mischief and Amazing Kong. See, I have no clue what the past for the NWA women's champions were, because this is going on between a year to 2 years that Jazz has been champ. And if they were champ, if they were champ before Jazz, then it's been a while. So I'll have to do some research. It'll be an interesting, something interesting to look up when I got some time. First match, we got Sam Shaw versus Colt Cabana versus Scorpio Sky versus Sammy Guevara. My pick to win the whole thing, honestly, was going to be Sammy Guevara. He's one of my favorites right now as far as, guys working their craft, working hard, showing off their stuff, however you want to say it. But he was one of the first ones to get eliminated here. We had Colt Cabana getting eliminated first, then Sammy, then Scorpio Sky. But this is a bit of a spot fest, but it was a good match. A lot of guys getting their stuff in. Sam Shaw came out with the win in this one. And I'll be honest, I have not seen Sam Shaw, say that 10 times really fast. I have not seen Sam Shaw wrestle since the TNA days. I'm not sure what they called it when he was in the company. Was it TNA or was it Impact? I know it's Impact now because I cover it. But I know that Sam has been tied very closely since the inception of the 10 Pounds of Gold series started a year and a half ago. So, I'm not sure exactly what he's all doing behind the scenes, helping out David Lagana and Billy, but I know Sam Shaw's name is always in the credits of all those videos. He was great in TNA, and I loved his finisher. Yeah, I don't remember, and I don't remember what his finisher was. I don't know if it was the same one he used tonight. I don't remember how he won it. It part of it happened so fast, and I missed a little bit of it, but I did see the end of it. I just don't remember how it ended. Um, but yeah, I loved his creepy gimmick. How he was like, what was he doing? He was like stalking people, and he always had the black gloves on and the black sweatshirt and whatever. Um, and now he's got the red gloves on. In fact, he had the red gloves on at All In when he came out with. What did he come out with? Well, he came out with Nick Aldis. And that right there was kind of creepy. It's like, who's that? Oh, that's Sam Shaw. Um, so yeah, he won the first 4-way elimination. Then we had the Laredo Kid versus Barrett Brown. And I saw like the last 2 seconds of the match and a couple moves in between. And this looked like it was like I heard it in the background because I had it on my phone as I was cooking dinner, finishing up it and everything. And so I missed a good chunk of it, and I could hear, the crowd popping and talking about moves going on. Certainly one I want to go back and watch. Fortunately, I missed. Barrett Brown coming out with a win with this one. Certainly two high flyers. His finisher in TNA was a modified standing triangle choke inverted version of the Taz mission. Oh, okay. These guys coming up with the answers. Man, love I love these guys. My regulars. Thank you, Agent. Thank you, Agent. Then we get the next 4-way elimination match. We got Ricky Starks. Man, he was out there cutting a promo with Jim Cornette before the whole thing got underway. Holy cow. That kid kind of reminds me of MJF. Very cocky, kind of, Paro came out with a big rainbow flag representing the LGBT. I always screw that up. Versus Jay Bradley versus Willie Mack. Solid 4-way. And for a while I thought Ricky was going to come out winning this one because he wasn't involved a lot. He got knocked down a lot by these bigger guys. Oh, man. It was funny. Paro ended up getting eliminated first by Ricky Starks. That surprised me. That honestly surprised me. Paro certainly being another big up-and-comer in the wrestling industry, getting featured a lot on Evolve and MLW. I haven't watched Evolve over the last couple months. I don't know if he's still with them, but I know he's on MLW. Featured in the was that Stud Stable, I believe? Yeah. Jay Bradley, hadn't seen him in a while since the TNA days. And then Willie Mack, of course, featured House of Hardcore champion. Lucha Underground guy. Newly signed to Impact Wrestling. Very excited about that. Shimmer has a streaming service now. Mischief was NWA and Shimmer at the same time. Oh, okay. Longest reign for Shimmer belt. Huh. 3 years. Holy cow. That is impressive. Mischief. I'll have to look her up. I feel like I should know her. Sounds familiar. But yeah, great match going back and forth between these four guys. Paro was eliminated first, then Jay Bradley. And coming down to Ricky versus Willie Mack. Willie Mack comes out winning here, which made me very happy because I love Willie Mack. Tremendous athlete for his size. He does stuff that, and I've said this before, he does stuff that a lot of guys his size just don't normally do, you know? He's really something else. Then there is a face-off. Now, this was kind of comical. There was a face-off then. Face-off between Mack and Shaw. Shaw came out to face-off with Willie Mack. And then Jay Bradley, being a sore loser, attacked Willie Mack. And who of all people comes to the rescue? James Ellsworth. What? Really? James Ellsworth? He came to the rescue? And just as it looked like he was about to get clobbered, he ended up countering, getting thrown into the ring post. Jay Bradley went into the ring post, which sent him on his way. And then James Ellsworth helped out Willie Mack. And Sam Shaw just kind of backed off. Like, I'll see you later. Apparently, Sam Shaw, a little intimidated by James Ellsworth. I don't know too many people that would be intimidated by James Ellsworth, but you know what they say. Any man with two hands can beat up Sam Shaw. Anyways. Goofy. Made me giggle. James Ellsworth to the rescue. Who would have thought? Next, we get... I missed most of this match, unfortunately. The end was funny, though. Tim Storm versus Peter Avalon. Apparently, they've had this rivalry going on. And, the show. Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. Featured on Fight TV. And, I watch that every great once in a while. If I hear something specific on there that someone I like on a regular basis, I'll check it out. So, but I was curious to see what Tim Storm was doing after he lost the championship. Not too much. I guess he's still wrestling. You know, I thought he was going to retire, but he's still going. Still going. He beat Peter Avalon, and apparently the stipulation he made before the match was if he won, Peter was going to have to kiss his foot. Really? Hey, at least it wasn't a Kiss My Ass Club. Well, that one's already taken. Oh, yeah, we know that. So, well, first, Peter Avalon's manager ends up kissing his foot, and then Peter tries to make a getaway, and Tim drags him back in the ring and sticks him right on his feet. It's like, oh, goodness, lucky guy. You'd see him just lining up for miles around to kiss Tim Storm's stinky feet. That's just wonderful. Good on him. So, but hey, you gotta throw a little comedy in there. It's all right. It's okay. Nothing wrong with that. Then we have the NWA Women's Championship match. And I was very excited about this because I was very curious to see what Jazz was going to look like after not seeing her in the ring for how many years. I can't even remember the years that she was in the WWF. I remember playing her on the video game. I distinctly remember that. But, man, yeah, I'd have to look that one up too. Let's watch. Someone will look it up for me because they love me. And I love you guys. Demon Rocks is on it. Look at these guys. Love them. Now they're going to race. I'll tell them first. Oh, love it. So, and that's interesting is Jazz came down to the ring first. Usually the champ comes down last. But she came down first. Probably just, pride, as in I want to get out there first. Could be wanting that intimidation factor of being in the ring and staring down your opponent as they're coming out there. I can understand that too, And Jazz is nothing to sneeze at. She is, my goodness, she got out there. What the hell did Jim Cornette say? Oh my God, looks like 2 baked potatoes. Her biceps. Oh my God. I will say this. I'm not the biggest Jim Cornette fan. Let's just say he 2003. Yeah, that could be. Yeah, you could be very right on that one. I know Jim Cornette is not everybody's cup of tea. He's very opinionated, especially when it comes to today's wrestling product. In fact, he was kind of opinionated as far as what was going on in the ring. And I think it's okay to have an opinion outside of what you're calling. But when you're calling something, I say leave your opinions out of it, your personal opinions, and just, if you're going to be a heel and be like, oh, I don't like this guy, that's one thing. But to say you don't like someone's wrestling, that's kind of, I don't know. That really didn't have any place in this show. He did that a couple times during the show, and I was just kind of like, but that's Jim. That's Jim. He don't care. He don't care what you think either. He certainly doesn't care what I think. But hey, you guys care what I think. You're here, and I appreciate that. So thank you. And if you haven't done already, don't forget to smash that like button and smash that sub button. We've had some great success over the course of the last week since Bound for Glory a week ago. Had like 10 new subs to the channel. Phenomenal. Thank you. So let's keep that momentum going. Went over 540. We're trying to get 550 and beyond, obviously. Trying to get to 1,000 by sometime next year. That's the goal. So Jazz comes down first. Penelope Ford then follows. And she really made a name for herself at All In. Certainly put a lot of eyes on her who maybe weren't familiar with her before, like myself. I had seen some stuff from Joey Janela, had no clue who the woman was that was tied to him. So seeing Penelope Ford out there trying to go for the NWA Women's Championship was exciting. I was like, wow, okay. Well, I know the face. Let's see what she can do. Because she certainly went balls out on that match with Adam Page versus Joey Janela. Diving off the top rope to the outside. My goodness. Certainly not afraid of anything. She had some offense in this match, but she really did not stand a chance against Jazz. Jazz just, my goodness, what an ass kicking. Talk about, waiting for the chant to say, you still got it. Obviously, folks down there in the South are familiar with her, so I didn't hear that chant. But I was saying it in my head as I was watching this, because this is the first match I've seen of Jazz in 15 plus years. Crazy. ECW, WWE, WSU, and Shine. Jazz was Sarah Del Rey's last match before signing with the WWE. Wow. Interesting. Thank you. You guys and your little nuggets of information. I love it. Thank you. That's awesome. Learn something new every day. And it's thanks to good watchers and fans like you. Thank you. Cheers. Awesome. But yeah, Jazz retains her women's championship here. Like I said, Penelope got some offense in here, but she really didn't have a chance. I mean, Jazz really just clobbered her. She really, she put a giant exclamation point on this championship, because I'm sure it's the first time a lot of people have seen the NWA Women's Championship in a long time. Because I know I'm not the only one that felt like that tonight. Like I said, people down there from where this was hailing from, around the Asylum area, because I think that's where she's from, around there in Georgia area. If she's defending it like locally down the southeast part of the country, they're used to seeing her. They know what's going on. But as far as nationally, everywhere else, the NWA has been non-existent. I'm not talking about the 10 pounds of gold and everything over the last year and a half. That's been very publicized, social media, YouTube, all over the place, all in. But what Jazz has been doing, this was her big, hey, I'm here and I've got this belt, and you're going to see what I can do with this belt. Tonight was a very loud statement. And in fact, after the match, she made an even louder statement. She goes, there's all these guys getting all these opportunities in the NWA. Where's mine? And she got a round of applause for that. As in, hey, Billy, I want my shot at the 10 pounds of gold. Could you imagine Jazz going after the 10 pounds of gold? After seeing her match tonight, honestly, as tough as she is, I don't have a problem with it. No, if Billy's up for it, I kind of hope he is. It would certainly break ground for that brand. I don't think a woman's ever gone for that championship before. Not in my lifetime, not of my knowledge. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm not going to say it's a bad idea. Women are breaking boundaries in wrestling constantly. Between Impact and WWE with Evolution and all sorts of stuff going on. But yeah. Wow. Jazz wants a shot at the 10 pounds of gold. We'll see. Then Jeff Jarrett comes down with the national championship, comes down to a pretty good round of applause. He is respected around there. I know Jeff Jarrett is not everybody's cup of tea, especially if you're an Impact Wrestling fan like myself. But, you know, controversy aside, Jeff Jarrett has a right to be there. You know, he has a pretty solid foot in the history of the NWA. So whether you love him or hate him, whether he's your cup of tea or not, he's part of it, you know. Came down there with the brand new national championship belt. Let me know what you think of the national championship belt too. I dig it. It's very different. Very, I'll say, non-traditional from what is around today. But it's got a new yet classic look to it too, between the leather and the plates and everything. I think it's beautiful. Let me know what you think. He's down there talking to Magnum TA. Oh, and they announced that Magnum TA would present the national championship to whoever won. That's pretty special. Magnum TA, you know, hasn't been in wrestling, but has a presence in wrestling still. After his accident back in the 80s? It's got to be 80s. I was a kid when that happened. But yeah, I remember the headlines. I remember people talking about it. So that brings on Sam Shaw versus Willie Mack. Hell of a match. Hell of a match. Very, very happy Willie Mack came out on top of this one. So proud of him. So proud. 9.99. It's not the only thing that's 9.99, eh? Thank you, Demon Rocks. You were 12? Yeah, I was pretty young too. I don't know what the I remember seeing a headline and remember seeing pictures and stuff, but I don't remember what year that was. I just know it was a long time ago. Somewhere in the 80s. I was probably about 10-ish, give or take a little bit. Yeah. So proud of Willie Mack. House of Hardcore champ, NWA, and new NWA national champion. Now, I don't know if it's just going to be defended around the States or in the continent of North America, as in from Canada to Mexico. That I don't know. So I'm not going to assume. I just don't know. But nonetheless, certainly in the U.S. So, but they also made this look, or excuse me, not look. Excuse me. They also made this sound like it's also puts you in a running for the 10 pounds of gold. And I think that's great. I mean, they came right out and said that. There is no assuming, there is no wondering. I don't think they consider it like a cash in, but it certainly means you're headed in the right direction. I think they're going to treat it very similar to how the Intercontinental Championship was treated in the 80s. As in, once you had that Intercontinental Championship belt, means you were in line for something greater down the road. So I think they're trying to bring that feeling, that bit of respect back to a secondary belt, that it's not just another championship in the line of how many others on a brand. So PWI, yeah. So yeah, congrats, Willie Mack. You're starting to become a bit of a belt collector yourself. I don't think that's the only one he's got. He's got some others, at least one other one. Heritage something, I think it's called. I think it's the one that Killer Cross used to have a year or two ago. Can't remember. So yeah, we'll have to see what's in line for him down the road as far as who he's going to defend that against first. Then we get the tag team match, which was really a hot mess at first because it started out Road Warrior coming out with Jack Stain and Crimson, the War Kings. Then Josephus comes out with his ladies, and it's like, okay, are we really okay? And this is not a knock towards women, but his spiritual advisor, and I'm sorry, I can't remember her name. She came out in a nightgown. And this is not going to be a nightgown match. Or no. You're not going to have a nightgown, a woman in a nightgown wrestling against a guy like Jack Stain and a guy like Crimson. Sorry, it's not going to happen. That's just ludicrous. It would be a slap in the face, okay? It's just, so you knew something was up. Somebody was going to come out of somewhere, and sure enough. But we didn't have any clue of who else was really going to represent Josephus. And his, I don't know what you call his enlightened crew. I don't know what you call his stable. Josephus, what a character. My goodness. Kind of a Bray Wyatt of sorts, you know, in that same kind of Southern spiritual line, you know. Out comes Crazy Steve and Shannon Moore. Very interesting tag team. They worked pretty good together. I actually liked their tag team. I don't know if they're called anything. I don't know if they've tagged together before. I really don't know. The only place I've seen Crazy Steve before was in House of Hardcore, Tommy Dreamer's company. And he was in the House of Hardcore Championship tournament to win the belt that Willie Mack has now. And that was several months ago. And we haven't seen him, well, we haven't seen a lot of House of Hardcore matches on Twitch lately, hardly at all. I think the company's still going. It's just they're just not showing the live shows that they used to, unfortunately. It is what it is. But yeah, I liked Shannon Moore and Crazy Steve together, but man, there must be something about you put guys in Road Warrior makeup, and that just adds something to the viciousness of the tag team. Because let me tell you, I would not want to go up against a team, whether it's the Road Warriors or not, with Road Warrior face paint on. Nope. Sorry. I'd run the other way. No chance in hell. Excuse me. Jack Stain and Crimson win with a ground zero. They then announce the Crockett Cup. And I talked a little bit about that at the top of my review here, announcing that news. Very excited to see about, and I know the Crockett Cup goes way back. So at first I was like, yeah, the Crockett Cup. Wait, what is that? Because I'm an old wrestling fan, but stuff going way back to the 70s and 80s is, I'm sorry, it's fuzzy. You know, I know some of the guys that I used to watch, but I don't remember distinct details about events and stuff that happened back then. I know Hogan slammed Andre, okay? That's but they said that it's a tag team tournament. So I was like, oh, okay, well, that explains a lot. That explains a lot. And like I said, out of this Crockett Cup, I'm sure is going to emerge because we saw the women's championship come back tonight. We saw a brand new national championship debut tonight, along with the headlining 10 pounds of gold. So I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that Billy is going to resurrect the NWA Tag Team Championship out of this Crockett Cup. So very excited to hear about that. I'll be keeping an eye out for that because I usually watch the series pretty faithfully. There's a few episodes I've missed here and there as far as 10 pounds of gold series, but there's a lot more going on now in the NWA now. I mean, this was like a really big launching pad to be like, all right, we've been talking about the 10 pounds of gold for a year and a half now. Boom. Here you got your women's championship. Willie Mack's the brand new national championship. I mean, they got enough here to really start picking up some momentum, start maybe putting some shows together. A lot of people wanted TV right off the bat. I don't think you can do that with a brand like NWA. That takes a lot of planning. A lot of, and NWA fans have been very patient over the last year and a half since its inception again from Billy Corgan. So we'll see. We'll see what 2019 holds for the NWA. Let's see. Then we get, oh my God, my notes. Oh, Jen Decker talking to Dory Funk Jr. out there, and I was like, wow, he's really old, and had no clue how long he had been champing, and it actually said he was champ from 69 to 73. That was a nice little nugget of information that they put next to his name. LOD won the first Crockett Cup. No doubt about that in my mind. In fact, they might have said that at the event tonight, but I just don't remember it. I know. They really had some history. They talked about they were the first tag team to hold the AWA, the NWA, and the WWF Tag Team Championships. That's Road Warriors were a special team. They really were. So then we got a line of champs in the ring. We got Jax Dane, Blue Demon Jr. I think was also out there. Jeff Jarrett, Tim Storm. I know I'm missing a few. Colt Cabana was out there. All former NWA champions. Excuse me. All lining up, getting ready for this 2 out of 3 falls match for the NWA World Championship match. Tony Schiavone joins Jim Cornette, and I'm sorry, I don't know the name of the other guy that was the younger guy that was along with Jim Cornette for a majority of the evening. Great seeing Tony Schiavone out there. Very kind of MLW to let his contract stretch so he could be a part of this. Tony Schiavone being part of MLW is certainly a blessing for that show, because if you're an old wrestling fan like mine, there are certain things that go along with classic wrestling that always, bring a warm spot of wrestling history to your heart, kind of like watching Okerlund do an interview, or like I was talking about with Ring Warriors. That's on WGN on Saturday mornings. Ken Resnick, another classic interviewer, still knocking it out of the park, part of Ring Warriors interview team. So yeah, nice to have Tony a part of this. 2 out of 3 falls match. Nick Aldis with someone who I had never seen before, Camille. This Camille, wow. taller than Cody. Taller than Cody. Certainly towered over Brandy. Crazy Steve's engaged now. Oh, good for him. Good for him. Jeffrey Elliott's in the chat. Welcome to the chat. Okada held the IWGP title for over 2 years as well. Yes, he did. He held on to that thing forever. My goodness. Quite the lock on that for a while. Crazy. Nick Aldis going after the 10 pounds of gold held by Cody, defending with Brandy at ringside. Man, this was a great 2 out of 3 falls match. I was going into this, I had stuck in the back of my head. I really wanted to assume that Cody was going to win this, but hanging on to that little assumption was, if he doesn't win this or retain this, his NWA World Championship, it's also very telling as to what Cody's future is in 2019. And I honestly don't think we can assume anything, but it says one thing for sure. Whatever he and his boys are doing, the NWA Championship, 10 pounds of gold, would not have been a part of it. So, you know, I don't know if, oh God, this, I gotta be honest, this really messed with my head. This really messed with my head tonight. Because after being at All In and watching Cody win the championship, I thought, like, probably, I don't know how many other thousands, maybe millions of fans, whatever, that Cody was going to hang on to this for a while and go into 2019 representing the NWA along with wherever else he was. And he's not now. And as an old wrestling fan, I'm going to say it makes me a little sad, you know, because him being a part of the NWA, it just felt right, you know. It was such an incredible moment at All In when he won that, being tied to that championship again. He had, what, one defense between this with Willie Mack? And now it's, you know, I kind of wish there wasn't all the shenanigans there was, because they made a big deal about how controversial the match at All In was, because Brandy was out there and that she really shouldn't have been a part of it, and that's why Camille was there. She was the insurance policy for Nick Aldis. But there was so much going on, and then partway towards the end there, after the second fall, both Camille and Brandy and all the former NWA champions were all ejected from ringside. Not that the former NWA champs got involved, but they were right there. I mean, they were about a quarter inch away from the action when, things really started flying around outside the ringside area. Fiance is Holly, better known as Rosemary. Crazy Steve's engaged to Rosemary? Huh. Interesting. Thank you, Demon Rocks. But yeah, I mean, it just, I'm not going to give a lot of attention to the news that came out a few days ago about Cody being tied to a brand new company that's being started by Chris Jericho and Jim Ross, that's being fronted by a billionaire in the Middle East somewhere that already owns other sports teams. I mean, no, I don't think anyone believes that. I felt like the news was very telling. The fact that they had specific names, like, okay, this guy's aligned with this guy, and this guy's aligned with this guy, and this guy's in the back, he's fronting all this. Oh, and Cody and the Bucks and a couple other guys are going. They're all in. And I was like, oh, really? I'll admit, when I first read it, I was like, well, okay. That's like the biggest news. I mean, that, pardon the term, but that trumps everything. I mean, that's some crazy wrestling news. I mean, you hear about some crazy news in the world of professional wrestling. So-and-so's coming out of retirement. Oh my God. So-and-so won the championship out of nowhere. Oh my God. But two random legends in wrestling starting up a country backed by another billionaire from Mars or whatever, and Cody and the Young Bucks are all in. That just I know that there were, yeah, okay. Like Klutz says, that rumor was already killed, bro. They aren't doing that. Well, I know that people reached out to people from Access TV and they denied it. If this thing, see, and I've talked about this how many times on here. Whenever something gets leaked ahead of time before, okay, for example, somebody's coming out of retirement and, okay, perfect example. Chris Jericho asked how many times are you going to be a part of All In? And he kept saying, no. What was the first thing he said? They couldn't afford me. What was the biggest highlights of All In? Oh my God, it's Chris Jericho. If this thing with Cody and the Bucks and Chris Jericho and Jim Ross just got home from the show tonight. Awesome. Thanks for joining, man. If touche. If this is legit, no one who's involved in it is going to say, oh, busted, you found me. Like Ron White, you caught me. Tater salad. You caught me. No one's going to fess up. They're going to deny the hell out of it until it happens. So, is anybody buying it? No. Are people scratching their heads when they read this? Hell yeah. Don't tell me they're not. Some parts of it are laughable. Some parts are like, what? Apparently, Jim Ross has been hinting at something big coming up next year. Says he's not. It said he's not re-signed with WWE. Chris Jericho already made fun of it online. Yes, I know that. I know this. I own a bakery too, and he said some other goofy shit. So, I mean, the fact that Cody lost tonight makes me feel like whatever's going on. Okay, put it this way. It kind of debunks the big rumor in a sense as well. You can look at this for so many different ways, and I just don't have time tonight to do all the different aspects of it. If Jim Ross and Chris Jericho had a company and Cody was at the forefront of the company, I can't think that they'd be upset if he had the NWA championship. Okay? Period. Like Klutz says, so you really think the Elite is heading to the WWE like they tease in their YouTube channel on the Elite? Yeah, those videos are very interesting. As much as they joke and jab little things in there, makes me think they're not doing it, but it's so, I don't know. I really don't know what to think anymore. After All In, there were when All In happened, there were 11,000 people live there along with me, 11,000 plus, whatever the number was. 11,000 plus people there, convinced in their minds and in their heart and in their soul that there was gonna be an All In 2, and that next year was gonna be Cody and the Young Bucks year to do absolutely whatever the hell they wanted. And that there was no way in hell they were going to go to the WWE. Now, I don't have that feeling anymore. Millions of fans are sitting on the edge of their seat, though, after tonight and looking at that going, oh, shit, Cody's not NWA champ. I'm sure there's a lot of people assuming he's going straight to the WWE. Because don't tell me Vinnie Mac would have him hold that championship walking in the door of the WWE. I think the drawing lines from this company to this company to this company to this company, I think have been worn down over the last, I'd say, couple of years, considering all the little partnerships that are sprouting up. Impact, Ring of Honor, AAA, Lucha Underground, all those little working feelers working together. Tremendous. Nothing but positive there. But I'd be shocked if WWE really starts doing a talent exchange. I don't think Vince has it in him to do anything bold like that. Some people wouldn't consider that bold. Some people would consider that a weakness. I don't think it's a weakness at all. Look at what's happened this year. I know the NWA championship has shown up in the WWF years ago. Or at least, wait, was it the tag belts? I think it was the tag belts. There was something going on between the WWF and the NWA years ago. Jim Cornette showed up with some NWA championship team, Midnight Riders or something like that, and they faced some other team. And this goes way back, way before the Attitude Era. I'm sure someone will fill in a blank somewhere for me, but so NWA stuff has appeared in the WW in the company before. but it's been damn near, we'll say 30 plus years since it's happened, as far as I know. Cody's still going to get that rematch for the NWA title, right? You'd like to think so, but I don't think anything's guaranteed. Edward Plapp is in the chat. Good evening. Welcome. Not to mention Vince has the original 10 pounds of gold given to him by Flair. I thought the original 10 pounds of gold was in a museum somewhere. Who knows? Not calling you a liar, Edward. Just, I don't know. There's so many duplicates floating around. This championship, that company. So yeah, Nick, and I know I haven't said anything positive about Nick Aldis. Nick Aldis has done a hell of a job in the NWA since its inception with Billy Corgan a year and a half ago. I give him a ton of honor and a ton of credit for taking that championship literally around the world before Cody got a hold of it. I know it's like the looks on people's faces after Cody lost and Nick Aldis won was completely shocked. And I know there's a lot of people out there that assume that Nick Aldis was going to get it back. Why have the rematch? Because that's what happens in wrestling. But Cody's contract is up soon. So that threw a big question mark. Oh, okay. If he keeps it, that means he's staying with Ring of Honor and New Japan. If he loses it, throws an even bigger question mark up now. And I know a lot of my discussion towards the end of this video now is taking away from the NWA. But you can't not talk about Cody's future and the end of this pay-per-view together. You can't. It's they're but Nick Aldis is a hell of a wrestler. He's done some benchmark things over the last 2 years, especially holding this championship. He did some good things in TNA. He wouldn't be where he is right now if he didn't work the stuff from the TNA. And that was a big, and he'll tell you, his stuff got flip-flopped around a lot as far as his future and was and everything. Where can you see the NWA pay-per-view for free? I'm sure it'll pop up on there's a couple different streaming sites out there that'll have it within the next day or two, I'm sure. It's a big enough show. I'm sure it'll end up out there. There's a couple I go to. I won't say them live on here. Just do a little research over the next couple of days. I'm sure you'll find it. So yeah, Nick Aldis is going to hold the 10 pounds of gold again. I mean, the NWA did some significant growth tonight. They had their first pay-per-view as a company in God knows how long. I can't remember the last NWA pay-per-view. Can you? The NWA has a clear look at who their women's champion is, and a very strong one at that with Jazz. They have a brand new champion, as in new championship, with a new champion to boot. Willie Mack, congrats to him again. Phenomenal. And with the announcement of the Crockett Cup, I think the NWA did some incredible growth tonight. So congrats to the NWA. They took a major step tonight. And moving forward, I think 2019 is going to be nothing but positive for them. NWA TNA. That goes. That combo goes back about 15 plus years. 15 plus years. Oh, back in its inception with TNA, it was a good combo, you know. Back when Jeff Jarrett was champ and AJ Styles was champ, and hell, Ron the Truth Killings, NWA champ back then. Not going to knock him. People laugh at him now, but see, he's just not given. Oh, you're saying NWA TNA is the last pay-per-view. Yeah, you could be right. You could be right. I mean, I don't know what's happened in the year of the 2000s. I know that Adam Pearce and Colt Cabana had a hell of a feud, and that ended up on a DVD somewhere, but I don't know if any of that stuff was featured pay-per-view type. You know, I don't know if most of those shows were pretty small, I'm guessing. But it's still a feud I still want to see. They had a hell of a feud, I heard, for the NWA Championship back, what, 10 years ago? 10 plus? Probably a little over 10 years ago. Christian Cage. Yeah, he was. Was that NWA back then? I'd have to look. Probably was. Yeah, I don't remember what year the NWA pulled away from TNA. I remember reading a lot about it a year and a half ago when Billy took over. They did a little brief timeline history of kind of when stuff happened over the last 10 to 20 years, wow, 20 plus years, as far as ownership and championships and companies aligned with stuff. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I wanna hear your opinions too on. I mean, number one, the event tonight was great. I don't think anybody can complain about the event. As far as who won what, I mean, if you're not a fan of Jazz and you're a fan of Penelope Ford, you might be a little upset at that. If you're a fan of Cody's and not a fan of Nick Aldis, you might be a little upset at that. But I don't know anybody on God's green earth that'd be upset about Willie Mack winning the national championship. I am pleased as punch about that. Let me tell you, love me some Chocolate Thunder, some Willie Mack. Congrats to him, and congrats to everyone. Congrats to Jazz for retaining. Congrats to Nick Aldis and Camille for not retaining, not re-getting, for winning the NWA World's Championship again. Wow, I saw that 17 watching now. Oh, that's pretty good. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. Did you dig it? Light Klutz, I hate all this. Yeah, well, you're probably not the only one out there tonight. Jazz needs to face Tessa. Oh, damn. Wow. That would be something. That would really be something. I would love to see that. Make it happen, wrestling world. Make it happen. I'm sure Jazz would not mind that. She is a proud champ. But that depends on Don Callis and Scott DeBoer and all those guys too, because that's where their primary lies right there, is with Tessa as Impact Wrestling Women's Knockouts champ. But she's champ other places too, so we'll see. Maybe. I'd love to see that though. I would. New subscriber. Thank you. Wow. Much appreciated. Didn't catch the name. Just saw the quick blip up on the corner of my screen. Jeffrey Elliott. Thank you. Too sweet. And a smash. A friendly smash. Much appreciated, man. If you want to be as cool as Jeffrey Elliott, you can smash that like button and smash that sub button too. And don't forget, folks, ring that bell for notifications, because God knows YouTube's doing some crazy stuff. I don't get half the notifications that I want from the channels that I want, but it helps. It helps. I get most of them, just not all of them. Those stupid, what are they called? Algorithms or something? I don't know. So that's my thoughts on this show. Solid show. Congrats to everyone involved. New, retaining, champs, all alike. You know, and I might do another video in the soon and near future if other specific news comes out towards the end of the year as far as specifically what's up with Cody and his boys. But Light Klutz subbed. Thank you. Thank you. And thanks for participating in the chat too. The chat's got some new and old faces in there. Thank you. Much appreciated. Trying to keep that growth going. We've had some nice growth in the channel over the last week, like I said, since Impact Bound for Glory. And hopefully tonight as well. You know, I don't, like I said, I don't talk about NWA enough on here, but since All In, and especially this now, and with the growth that they've had tonight with new champions and everything, Edward Plapp subbed. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Hell of a night for the NWA and smash this podcast. Much love, guys. Very humble thank you. Congrats to Mercedes. Why congrats to Mercedes? All right. While you're typing that in there. Mercedes. Who's Mercedes? We're going to get out of here. But yeah, if you're catching this after the fact, I'm not tying this to any of my sites that I normally put my Impact stuff goes to rantwithant.com. My House of Hardcore, which I barely do stuff for that anymore because there just hasn't been much. My Lucha Underground and MLW stuff goes to wrestlingwithwrestling.com. So this is just out there for everyone to enjoy. It's not tied to any site, because usually I say, okay, everybody watching after the fact can go check out on whatever site. So this is just staying on YouTube, unless I get a request. Sometimes I get a request from the good old Andre Corbeil. Who knows? All right. Light Klutz says if Vinny gets the Elite next year, he will own the best of wrestling. 99%. Just saying. Yeah, that that's gonna be a huge statement in the world of wrestling. A lot of different opinions are gonna be tied to that if that happens. I haven't watched the WWE in months, except for SmackDown 1000. That was kind of a fun show. I just watched to see what Ray was doing and what Batista did. God, I love Batista. I miss him. Was at the show tonight. It was great. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Jason, for tuning in and letting us know here at Smash This Podcast. Us. Yeah, I got a mouse in my pocket. Me and all, but thanks for letting me and all the boys know. Oh, goodness. Tessa lost to Mercedes in a 75-minute match. Oh, in Rise. I heard about the match. I didn't hear who. I thought I heard that Tessa won. That she defended that Rise championship successfully. Huh. I wonder if that's going to be on their Twitch channel. Because if you subscribe to their channel, you get their footage on there. I wonder if that's on there. I know it's on their website, but I don't know. Brian Cage versus Nick Aldis. Oh my goodness, that'd be a slobber knocker. Batista to wreck, keep it in your pants. That was hilarious. That was hilarious. And then him saying to Triple H that you've never beat me. That makes me think they're gonna do something next WrestleMania. I would actually watch that. I would love to see that. Like I said, I love Batista. I was a very big fan of, Batista riding with Eddie back in the day. Yeah, as far as the 2000s, Batista is one of my favorite parts of it. And then he went off to just do tremendous things in Hollywood. And I'm not knocking him for that, So now I'm totally going off on tangent. I thought he was talking about the NWA. Yeah, now it's. If you're new to the channel, you're coming to find out that I get distracted easily by my chat, and then they could be, oh yeah, so how's that potato leek soup? Oh yeah, well let me tell you about it. Wait a minute, what? Captain ADD over here, okay? All right, so we're gonna wrap this up. Give me your thoughts if you're watching this after the fact of the show, and your thoughts of all the champs lined up now in the NWA going into 2019. Good or bad, I want to hear it. You're not going to offend me because I thought it was a great show. I'm very excited for the NWA going forward, run by David Lagana and Billy Corgan at the helm. So, and if you're new to the NWA again, like many people are, please go check out the 10 Pounds of Gold series on the NWA YouTube channel. Great stuff on there. Jerry's in the chat. What's up? You're late, but that's okay. Much love, Jerry. You're a devout watcher of mine. A Rise accent for $9.99. Okay. What is the oldest one you have in the back? The oldest one I have, I've got a couple that are ancient here. I think the oldest one I have is this one right here. Because they aligned my walls here on the side here. You just can't see them. It wraps around. There's a giant Motley Crue banner from the tour, their last tour, and then they wrap around here. And then I've got my top favorites here at the top of my desk. I got Eddie Guerrero, AJ Styles, Austin Aries, Punk in the middle, Samoa Joe, and then Tommaso Ciampa. A couple Milwaukee guys in there because I'm right outside Milwaukee. This is one of my oldest ones right here. One of my proudest ones. Love Goldberg. This one is from 2003. And then I've got a couple from around that same year. I got Rob Van Dam and an NWO Kevin Nash. All WWF, that is. So, yeah, I've kind of stopped collecting WWE figures. I want to start collecting more. And this is actually in really good shape, too. A tad bit dusty, but the packaging is really good. Just a tiny bit curled here. This is in really great shape. Very proud of this one. Even has a sticker on here. Goldberg Elimination Chamber match. Huh. Yep. SummerSlam 2003. Love this one. Pretty cool stuff. It's a rare one. So, give me your thoughts on the NWA show tonight. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to smash that like button and especially smash that sub button. Ring that bell for notifications. We're out of here. Tomorrow night. What do we... Oh, Monday night. Hashtag MLW Mondays. We'll be reviewing this last MLW featuring Shane Strickland going up against Lawler. Cannot wait to watch that one. I'll be watching that one probably during the day tomorrow and then reviewing it live sometime during Raw. Oh my God, Smash This Podcast goes up against Raw. Yeah, that's why I get like one viewer on Mondays. No, I'm kidding. Just a minor schedule thing I try to do on Mondays is do my MLW stuff on Mondays. Hashtag MLW Mondays. Doesn't always happen like that. Sometimes it happens on Tuesdays, but we still jokingly say hashtag MLW Mondays. So we'll see you tomorrow night. And after that, we'll see what happens. All right. Take care, folks. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in tonight. Wow. 19 live. Good night, folks. Much love.